Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I have for you another Mystery Box Monday video, and what that is I take my mystery box of supplies that I ordered back in December and pull out 3 items to create a project with, much like those mystery cooking shows. So I can't see what's in these boxes, but I can feel what's in the boxes, so I try to go for 3 things that feel differently. This first one is a stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and it seems to be mostly a greeting stamp set for card making. The second one is a Pinkfrest Studio multi-layer floral stamp with some interesting sayings in there as well. And then there is this Kelly Perky sticker sheet. So my first thought was definitely to make a card, since the stamp sets were along the lines of card making, but I want to stretch my ideas about what I can do, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing this project, to see where my creativity can go. Now, when I started reading the sentiments on both of these stamp sets, they sparked a scrapbooking idea for me. Now, when I first looked at these products, I didn't notice that die was also included in that stamp set. So I will put links to any of these products that you can still find elsewhere. They're probably discontinued from where I got them, which is why they were in a mystery box. So anyway, I am moving forward with this idea of doing a scrapbook layout, and I am going to match up some colors with these sticker sheets from my ink pads. And because I've got stamps, I'm going to be using plenty of stamping and inking today, and these sticker sheets, and those are going to be the main embellishing factors on this layout. So I pull out a Gina K grass green ink color, I think that's Fired Brick Distress, and then Skylight by Catherine Pooler, and I am going to get to stamping. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with these multi-layered stamping images, and so while I've seen plenty of people do them, I haven't done them myself. I know that having a stamp positioning tool of some sort, I have the Misty, but there's lots of them on the market. You can use whatever you have, or you can do it by hand if you're careful enough. Now, what I am doing here is I am doing second generation stamping. So I am stamping up my ink pad and then stamping it off first. And then this second layer of stamping actually gives you a lighter color. So there I stamped off the dark color. Here's the second stamping of the lighter color. And that's going to be the base layer for my flowers, because what I'm going to do is with this second layer of flower stamping, I'm going to do the full color. So you can use different colored ink pads for this, but I am doing it this way because I like the way that the 2 layers of color work together. So this is the third stamp in this stamp set, which is now the first layer of leaves. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to ink it up full color. I'm going to stamp that full color off on this scratch piece, and I'm going to save that scratch piece for later. And then I've got that first layer of leaves. Now, that wasn't quite dark enough, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go ahead and stamp off that full color, stamp a second time with the half color, and that actually builds up the layers of ink to give me a color that I'm happy with. And then for this final piece, I put that 4th layer of stamp on there, which is the second layer of leaves in the full color. That's the scratch piece, so-called, that I'm going to set aside. Now, the second part of this stamping is to die cut, and that die cut came in this package, and I'm using that scratch piece to create a template. And so I cut that out, make sure it's working okay, set it aside, and then what I do, instead of removing the die from that piece of cardstock, I'm going to use that cardstock to line up my next layer of the piece I'm keeping for my project, and then kind of shift that die so it clicks into place with that already cut edge of cardstock, and that will cut through that second layer for me just fine. And then I've got this little jig that helps me line things up for the future. Now, these sentiments on this stamp set, as well as the Simon Says stamp set, are the things that sparked the story idea. So my daughter is vegan, and I am not. I'm not even vegetarian. But these sentiments on here talk about changing the world and making a difference and having a new perspective. So all of those ideas helped lead me toward this page of talking about my daughter deciding to go vegan, and me and my husband deciding not to go there with her. Although we are eating a lot more vegan and less animal products, and she's happy about that. It's not a lifestyle that I'm going to lock myself into necessarily, but it does change my perspective on things. Now, for these stamp sets, I did cut apart this longer sentiment, which would not fit on those circle embellishments that I'm building. And when I put these pieces away, I can just put them back together as they were originally, and you don't have to worry about cutting your stamps apart. Now, I will show you that cutting process a little bit later. Okay, so I'm building my layout now, and I pulled out this piece of pattern paper, which I will end up changing later because the color tone is too corally, too muted. I didn't really like it very well, but it was the first piece that caught my attention when I was looking through my stash. So anyway, I am building up mostly these layers of torn paper because I think the torn edge has that feel of change and shift and adjustment that lends well to this story. And I'm going to ink the edges with all the colors of ink that I used in the stamping, so it kind of helps pull everything together. And I'm going to do the torn edges both at the top and the bottom of this piece, and this is just 8.5 by 11 cardstock. And I've got two 4x6 photos here that I'm going to line up onto my 8.5 by 11 sheet. So if you are an 8.5 by 11 scrapbooker or a different size, you could just use this sheet as is. But I'm going to mount that onto a 12 by 12 and let some of my embellishments hang over. And again, you can adjust this to your sizing if you like the 8.5 by 11 sizing. I am using those floral sprays to frame my daughter's picture because this layout is a lot about her and it has that natural element to her, which is part of why she has decided to go vegan, because she likes nature and wants to help protect it and likes animals and wants to help protect them. So that is her reasoning. So these floral elements fit in there. Now, those stickers had calendars and time all as part of their theme, which works with the sentiments in the stamps about things taking time to change. And so I thought those pieces worked really well together. And I did pull my colors from those pieces. So I used that ink to do all my stamping and inking edges of my sentiment pieces there. So I'm just building up my clusters of embellishment with those sentiments and the stickers. So here you can see I changed my background pattern paper. I thought this background paper was a little more dynamic. The angles gave it more flow to it, which I think lends more to that change and adjustment feel of the messages on this layout. So I thought that worked better. Now here I am cutting apart a stamp set. This sentiment says a new perspective, something like that. And it didn't fit on that little tag that I want to stamp it on. So I'm cutting carefully in between the words, and that's exactly what I did with the bigger stamp set. It was just more cutting. And now this stamp will fit where I want it to go. And like I said before, you can always put the stamp back together exactly how it was in the beginning. So I've got my title on there, I put my journaling, and I hid a little bit of extra journaling behind there with some repositionable adhesive. So if anybody wants to pull it out and read that additional journaling, then they can do that. So leaving you with those couple of close-up photos. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found anything helpful at all, please do give me a like because that helps my channel. And I always love reading your comments. So if you have anything to share, please post and I will get back to you. I will be back on Wednesday with another video, so I will see you then.